A question that has been the subject of debate for many centuries is, what is music? So I decided to shed light on that question and help you better understand what music really is. Hi, I'm Varand Toros-Adami, concert pianist and founder of Adami Music Academy. Let's get right into today's topic. To jump right into the final answer, I must clarify that music is a language, and perhaps the most important of all languages, because as you know, it is the universal language. So if you're happy with this explanation, turn off this video and go do something productive like practicing your music. But if you want to stick around, then here we go. You see, all the spoken languages have few things in common. Number one, they all use the concept of time in order to communicate. Unlike a photo or a drawing or even a sculpture that depicts a snapshot of a story, spoken or written languages need time to explain the thoughts of the speaker or the author. The second thing is that they all start with letters which combine into words, words combine into sentences, sentences into paragraphs, paragraphs into chapters, and chapters into a book, with the ultimate goal of telling you something that you might use to enhance your life in one way or another. The third element is that most of them were developed to be written down, so that this vast knowledge of mankind can be preserved for the next generations. Now, since music is a language, it follows those three principles. So therefore, music uses the concept of time to transfer its message. It also has the smallest element, the single musical note, which combined with other notes, it creates a short musical idea. And lastly, it is written down and we read it from left to right. All right, now we're going to go a step further. So allow me to explain how alike are music and the spoken languages. Now, as I explained, notes combine to create a short musical idea. Now, that short musical idea is called a motif, which in terms of spoken languages, it is the equivalent of a word or perhaps the name of our main character in the story. Then the motif, combined with other notes, creates the sentences and the main topic, which in music it is called the theme. The theme then expands into what we call exposition, development, and recapitulation, which are equivalent to our regular paragraphs. Eventually, we get the chapters, which in music it is called the movements. And therefore, finally, the entire composition is born. Now, as you saw, music has a very similar structure to any other language. Thus, it must follow the main rule of any other language, which is to make sense. Otherwise, it will be discarded. Let me unpack this using the spoken language. If someone just says the letter S, he is not making much of a sense. And if he persists on repeating only that letter, then he's creating nothing but noise. Now, if he adds other letters and creates the word Sam, then you know that he's talking about Sam, who is perhaps someone you know. So now you are no longer bothered with the constant repetition of the letter S, therefore your attention goes to him to see what is he talking about. Having said that, if the person starts repeating the name Sam over and over again, then once more he is not making much of a sense, and now the name Sam has become the nonsense or just a noise. Now, if he starts adding some words to the name Sam and makes up something like this: Sam, jurisdiction, simultaneously, bravo, extravagance, manipulation, excellence. He's definitely putting a lot of big and perhaps positive words next to one another. But again, he's not making any sense. Therefore, it is not a correct sentence. It is meaningless, and yet again, nothing but noise. Now, on the other hand, if he combines the word Sam with other words and creates a sentence, let's say he says, Sam called and said he is bringing pizza. Now, that in fact tells you something. It is a complete, meaningful sentence, and by having that information, you decide to act upon it. Perhaps set the table, put up a nice movie to watch, and most important of all, save appetite because pizza coming. So since music is a language, a repetitive single note or rhythm that might last through the entire song or composition is nothing but noise, just like the letter S. Or in fact, if we take the motif, which is the word equivalent in music, and keep repeating it over and over again, then it is as if the word Sam keeps repeating. And although it is a word, it becomes meaningless. And if we take some random notes, random rhythm, and random chords, however much beautiful they might be, and put them all together, it is as if we're putting all those great words next to one another, which is utter meaningless nonsense. So music, just like a spoken language, must have meaning. Otherwise, it's jargon. Finally, the last thing I would like to mention about music being another language is the topics both music and spoken languages discuss and the stylistic approach they take based on each topic. For example, in the world of spoken languages, we have many different topics and subsequently types of writings, such as writing articles for news, scientific writings about a certain discovery, poems, comedic writings, drama, history books, children's books, novels, and so on and so forth. Music being a language once more obeys the same principle. That means we might have music that has more of a comedic element to it, such as Rossini's Barber of Seville. Or maybe it's intended for dancing in a ballroom, like the waltzes of Strauss. Or perhaps it is telling a story straight from the history, like Beethoven's Coriolan Overture. So when you engage yourself in listening, performing, or composing music, you want to ask yourself if what you're doing is in fact being immersed in music or absolute nonsense. I'll see you on our next topic. Bye.